So I graduated from the University of Dayton in 2014. At the time, I was just really excited, young, ready to take over the world. I had just accepted a job as a floating fundraising manager. So that means I would be traveling all over the United States. So I was really excited about that because I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. I was born and raised, and I was just ready to go and get out of here. Let me fix this. Okay, so a few days after my graduation, I got a call from my new boss. Hello, this is Tajel. Hey, Tajel, this is Michelle. I want to tell you where your your first assignment would be. So I was excited. I'm like, where am I going? Am I going to Miami? Am I going to New York or California? I was really feeling myself, so those places were like where I needed to be. She said, well, before I let you know, you'll only be going there for about 2 weeks. It's not that bad. We're sending you to Brookings, South Dakota. So once she said that, I kind of like tuned her out, and I was like, what the fuck is Brookings, South Dakota? So as she was talking, there were a lot of things that were going through my mind, like, is there a Church's Chicken there? Is there gonna be someone who can do my hair? Are there black people there? It was just a lot in that conversation. After all my thoughts kind of ran by, I heard her say, so do you have any questions? I had no questions. I was just really ready to pack my bags and get this 2 weeks over with. So as I got to South Dakota, I was thinking like, you know what, it's South Dakota, I can climb a mountain or two, hike on a trail, just kind of take in nature. When I got to South Dakota, I asked like one of the people who worked at the airport, where's the nearest mountain? They told me that I was about 5.5 hours away from Mount Rushmore and that it would be kind of like a good little weekend trip. So that was out. And so from that moment, I decided I was going to go to work, go back to my hotel, and just get out of there. A week and a half into me being in South Dakota, I got another call from Michelle. Hey, Tajel, we're here to tell you that the manager that we were going to hire decided not to take the job, so we're going to have to start the process all the way over. The process could take 3 months to 6 months. So we're not sure how long you could be there, but 2 weeks just turned into months. So I was really pissed. I was just like, again, what the is Brookings, South Dakota? And so for a couple of weeks, I was really sad, kind of depressed. There's nothing out there, y'all. But I don't know, maybe go out there if you're kind of adventurous. I don't know. But I was really depressed. And after a couple of weeks of being depressed, I thought to myself, like, okay, I'm in a new environment. I can either stay in this hotel room and be really pissy, or I could like get to know my coworkers and go out and figure out what to do, maybe go into a Kmart. I don't know, try to find something to do. So I went to work the next day and I like really introduced myself to my coworker. Her name was Kinsey. And when I first saw Kinsey, I was like, okay, she's the country girl and I'm the city girl and I'm gonna teach her all about life. And it turns out that Kinsey ended up teaching me a lot about life. She took me to my first rodeo, so now I can say that this really isn't my first rodeo. She took me to get shots and I drank this drink, I think it was called like the Russian hooker or something like that, but it was like vodka or something and pickle juice, and that's like a good drink. I didn't think I would like that. When I got to South Dakota, I hated country music, y'all. Like, I couldn't take it. But once I left South Dakota, I had one song that I really liked, and I still like it to this day. So that was really cool. But me and Kinsey ended up bonding over the next 6 months, y'all. It was the full 6 months. Yeah. So towards the end of that 6 months, I got a call from my boss. Hey, Tajel, I got some exciting news. You'll be getting out of South Dakota. I got your next location. I'm like, all right, girl, where are we going? Am I going I'm gonna be a little more modest. Arkansas, Texas. Atlanta. No, we're gonna send you to Minnesota. So I'm like, all right, I see what we're on. One thing that she said was, well, Prince lived there, so, you can kind of go to his, museum or something. I heard he has a recording studio that people can go to, and that was kind of appealing. So I said bye to my friends in South Dakota, and I took a flight to Minneapolis. And there, it was really cool because on every corner of Minneapolis, there was a vegan restaurant, and they were all about healthy eating and the orchestra, and it was just really cool because I had never been in that environment. Like I said, when I went to South Dakota, I was looking for the nearest Church's Chicken, but in Minneapolis, they have vegan spots everywhere. Like I said, I went to my first orchestra, which was really cool, and I just got to experience a lot of things that I wouldn't have experienced here, I guess, if I would have stayed in Dayton. And so that was cool. I was there in Minneapolis for about 3 months as well, and that wasn't that bad, but it was really cold. It was so cold from the hotel to the car. I would mumble a lot of stuff, and fuck would be in there a lot. But it was all good. I have my handy dandy earmuffs. If y'all have ever seen me, those are heavy duty things that I got from South Dakota. But so I was there in Minneapolis for 3 months. I made some friends and all that fun stuff. And then I got another call from my boss. I'm like, okay, where am I going now? Iowa, Utah, because I see we're kind of staying in this area where people really don't live. And so she's like, we have a more permanent spot for you. We're going to send you to Indiana. And so here I was able to have my own place because it was a permanent fundraising center. And I got my first apartment, paid my first bills. I know all the older folk are like, you youngin'. But I paid my first bills. I learned a lot about just being by myself and taking care of things that were mine. When I was in Indiana, I just started realizing I've been to some cool places, but Dayton was really calling and pulling at my heart because it was just growing, and I was just seeing a lot of opportunity to not only be a part of that growth, but to make sure that growth was also being taken to my community. So one day I just called my boss and told her I gotta go home, aka I quit. And so when I got home, I was able to kind of look back over the places that I had been, and although they weren't super fantastic and, the fast life I like, they were really cool because in South Dakota, I learned how to spend time with myself. I had grown up with my family my whole life and my friends, and being out in South Dakota where it was just me, I had to learn how to step outside my comfort zone. In Minneapolis, I learned how to take care of myself on the inside and eat healthy. I learned what quinoa was and couscous, and I just learned how to I learned how to make lemon water too, which was really great. But just getting into the habit of taking care of my insides and feeling good about what I ate. And then also in Indiana, I learned how to be responsible, and that was really fun. So when I came to Dayton, I was able to bring all of those tagels and just be a perfect me. So thanks, y'all.